friends, what is up and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title of today's video, I wanted to sit down and basically just talk to you guys, give you some channel updates, give you some life updates, talk about kind of what's been happening in our community, because I feel like I am one of those people that cannot just sit down and continue business as usual without talking about some of the things that have been going on recently in the world, in my life, whatever. And I wanted to sit down and do that because I have been trying to vlog, basically, really trying to vlog for the last month and a half, and I've been unable to do it. I've been really struggling with inviting people into my life, and you know, like documenting my day-to-day, and it's for many reasons, and there are certain things that I've covered in vlog footage that is not on the internet that I've since deleted or gotten rid of for one reason or another. Either I didn't feel like the vlog was up to par, or it was just stuff that maybe I felt like I didn't want to put out into the world when it comes to how I've been feeling. Sorry, I'm trying really hard to, like I said, not cry, because I've seen a lot of guilty, like guilty white tears basically online, and I'm not trying to excuse what's been happening and why I haven't really been there the last couple of days. But basically, my grandma passed away on Saturday night, and you guys always say that one of the things you really like about my channel is that sitting down and watching my videos is like hanging out with a friend and like talking to me, like I'm actually talking to you. And since day one, that has been my goal, is to make friends. I don't know, that like it has been in the forefront of my mind since I started, and it's something that I've really been struggling with recently. I don't really feel like, or I haven't really been feeling like I'm part of the community more so recently, and I think it is because I'm starting to notice certain cliques, or I was thinking I was noticing clicks, I'll say that. Because I've started to realize the longer I've kind of removed myself a little bit, like if you've noticed, I haven't been on Instagram very much. I try not to frequent Twitter because Twitter really gives me a lot of anxiety, because there's so many opinions being thrown around and so many things that I feel like you need to pay attention to kind of be in the community. And because of that, I've started to realize what is most important to me is my relationship with my viewers. And I've kind of addressed this before when I talk about creating content for the people that are watching your content, because I feel like a lot of the time the content we create is for other creators, and that really narrows down like the audience that you're trying to reach. And because BookTube is such a really small part of YouTube, if you're making content that you think other creators will like, you're really alienating a lot of people that might actually like your content. So I think I said in a video, somebody asked like what you'd like to see more of on BookTube, and that was one of the things. I want to see people really focus on their viewers and what they want to see. So recently, I would say the last 6 months, and a lot of people, I was having a conversation with a friend, and she said, oh, I've noticed that you weren't really uploading, and I assumed it was because you're in this new relationship. And I think that has a very small part to do with it. I think it helped me realize a couple of things, and it took me a while to kind of grapple with it. When I met Rocco, I spent a lot of time basically trying to undo a lot of the damage that my last relationship did. A lot of damage that I think I'm still dealing with, but I don't think I realized was really there until you have a supportive partner. Rocco really is just a wonderful person. Are you sure you don't want to say hi? turned it on, you were like, what are you vlogging about? And I think because of that, because he is so level-headed and he is so kind and caring and supportive, but also very blunt and honest and encouraging at the same time, I think I started realizing some of the things, like some of the habits that I had from my past relationships, some like self-preservation habits that I had, and some tics that I had because of it. And so when I got in this relationship, it's been almost 8 months, it made me kind of plummet with my mental health. I think most people, when they get into a relationship, it's like really high and happy and wonderful, and most of the time it was like that for me. But there were certain times where I was like, well, I'm not good enough, or I am, I bring all this baggage. And so that little, like I said, it's like 10% maybe starting dating, but I think because I was feeling like that, it started kind of transferring over into YouTube. I was seeing a lot of new people who I personally felt like had very similar content and were talking about very similar things and were doing really well. So I don't mean like similar content to me, but similar content to each other. And it felt like regurgitated versions. And I was getting really upset about that. As somebody who doesn't really ever pay attention to numbers, I started noticing that creators like that were doing really well. I started realizing that creators who are really into drama and giving their opinion about everything and really being like in the know, in the sense of like, I'm really on about this one issue and I want to be part of the discussion. I started realizing, seeing them over the last couple of years, like I started realizing that they were to an extent kind of doing that just to be in the conversation and to be paid attention to. So I felt like my authenticity and kind of like how I am and how I create content and the content I created, I felt like it was really undervalued. And because I was feeling so insecure about the type of person I was, I think it, like I said, transferred over to YouTube. And I wanted to create content that people really wanted to see, and I wanted to invite people into my life, but I was feeling like that. And so it made sitting in front of a camera really hard. Like it made it hard to want to sit down and film and talk about how I'm doing. And you got little glimpses here and there of small vlogs that I put up or updates in certain videos and stuff. But I just realized over the last, I would say 3 or 4 weeks, that it doesn't matter. Like if someone's content that I personally feel or other people personally feel is redundant, it doesn't matter because people are still watching it and somebody's getting joy from that, and basically it's none of my fucking business. It doesn't affect me. Or like the people who I had deemed at one point really just there for the drama, like that still doesn't affect me. Like that doesn't need to be something that affects like the content that I make, or whether or not I make content, or whether or not I'm talking to you guys and having discussions with you and just like updating you on my life. Like it doesn't matter. You are not the same as another person. I have said that so many times, that somebody else's content or somebody doing really well doesn't detract from the impact that you have or the connections that you have with people. It just doesn't. You can care about more than one person. You can have a relationship in really in any kind of relationship with more than one person. You can do these types of things. So I think as creators, oftentimes we want to be everybody's favorite, and you might be some people's favorite, but you're not going to be everybody's favorite. And what somebody gets out of one person's content can be very different from the content they get from somebody else. Like all of my favorite like traditional YouTubers are incredibly different, and I get something out of every single person that I watch. And as somebody who will occasionally watch like the beauty drama videos, I can also understand like the drama of BookTube, like the actual drama of BookTube, people being like finding that appealing. So I feel like a lot of this was just my insecurity turning into jealousy, and that's definitely something that I need to work on because I am an incredibly jealous person. It is just the type of person that I have always been, whether it is in overachieving or being a perfectionist or relationship wise or friendship wise, whatever it is, I am just a jealous person. And a lot of the last 6 months has been me trying to undo that and trying to just focus on what I want to make and the content that I want to make and connecting with you guys. And I got rid of my blog completely because I wasn't updating it enough and I felt like an immense sense of guilt. I got rid of my Patreon because I wasn't updating it enough because I was stuck sort of feeling very lost and I wasn't really creating consistent content at the time. And as you guys know, that is something that I've always prided myself on, and I wasn't going to have people basically give me money every month to produce stuff that I wasn't producing. And it was really hard to kind of come to that decision and to basically admit defeat, but it had to happen. And like I said, over the last, I think like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got this really big spurt and like a big breakthrough of just, I'm going to be myself again. Like, I don't care if it does well. I don't care if, you know, people like it or they don't like it. Like, I'm creating this mostly now for me. Like, I want to have these memories later on. And I got a comment, I think the thing that spurred this is I got a comment from a man on an Orson Scott Card review where I called basically Orson Scott Card like a racist, because if you research Orson Scott Card, he actually has donated money to many organizations, like has used his book money to really oppress people. And I spoke about that in the video. And the guy basically, as a comeback to make me feel bad, was like, oh, you've been doing this for, you know, almost 3 years and you don't have 10,000 subscribers. Maybe this just isn't for you. And my immediate reaction to that was to kind of go back to how I'd been feeling and really start shutting down and like, why would I continue to do this? And this is even something that I struggled with last night, like just thinking about it. And I think when that happened, I kind of wallowed in it for a day, and you guys were sending me really sweet messages, and it really took me out of it. And it made me realize that it doesn't fucking matter if I'm not doing as well as other people, and it doesn't matter if I don't really know the direction that I want my channel to go and don't really know what kind of content I want to make. That's like always something that I've enjoyed in other creators, just raw, off the cuff, like content. And so that's what I'm going to keep doing. Which brings me to some of the updates for my channel. I am going to try to vlog occasionally. I did like a Sunday day with me vlog. I'll link it up here for you guys. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed filming it. And I really enjoyed editing it and just getting to talk to you. But I don't think that I'm going to be doing vlogs as often as I used to. And if that's something that you really like to watch from me, you might not want to stick around, because I don't know how often those are going to happen. Not necessarily because I'm trying to keep my life private, but because I am on one hand trying to very much so be in the moment. And I vlog on my phone usually, and it's pretty annoying. And my camera that I film videos like what you're on right now is very big. It's a Canon EOS Rebel T6i. Very big, very heavy camera. So I'm not going to carry that around for vlogs. And so until maybe I get like the G7X or something, because that's what I've been looking at, it's pretty cheap comparatively for Canon cameras, I'm probably going to limit my vlogs. Now I'm going to probably do like little ones here and there where I talk about maybe what I'm reading, or, you know, if something big is happening in my life that I want to share with you, like I might do something like that occasionally. But primarily I want to go back to doing sit down videos, because this is when I feel the most connected to you. Now the vlog thing might change in a week. You guys might get like 3 vlogs in 1 week, like who knows. But as of right now, that's kind of my goal. Another thing that I want to do is I want to go down to 2 videos a week. I have been saying I was going to do that for a really long time, and I hadn't done that because I wanted to stay as relevant as physically possible. But the problem with that is that when I am uploading 3 videos, 4 videos, even 5 videos a week, I am unable to respond to everybody. I'm unable to keep up on Twitter. I'm unable to keep up on Instagram. I really struggle with that. And I don't know, I just want to streamline it. I really want to put out content that I'm super proud of. There are a few videos that I think will happen here and there. Like there are some, I do my Bay Crate unboxing every single month, so maybe like the week that I do that, there might be 3 videos. A week that I decide to put up a vlog, there might be 3 videos. Just having like the normal sit down, you guys are hanging out with me content, that is really important to me. And that is my favorite stuff to create. When I'm filming a vlog and it's like, oh, this is what has happened in my life this week, you guys get to see a little bit, and that's fun, but I don't feel like it's personal enough for me. And as the person who's creating the content, I want to feel like I get to sit down and really talk to you guys. And sometimes I get to see that in vlogs, but really it's like, I've noticed when you put up a vlog, obviously people are talking about like the things that have happened in the past week, and it's like over and done for you as the creator. And I feel like filming sit down videos and getting to talk to you guys, like ask you questions and stuff, feels more in the moment, even though maybe it was uploaded like a day or, you know, filmed a day or 2 before or whatever. So that's going to change, and like I said, I'm going to go down to 2 videos a week, unless there's like other random content. I'm sorry if the light's going in and out. I'm sitting by my window and I just realized it's like, the weather today is terrible. But it's just been a whirlwind trying to figure out kind of what I want to do and how, not necessarily that I want to present myself online, but kind of just how much I want to present myself online, because I have noticed, especially with other creators or my friends that really put themselves out there, kind of the self-entitlement that people have when they feel like they know you. And even if somebody's sitting here and bearing their entire soul to you and telling you like everything that's happening, it's still a very minute part of them that you're getting to see. So I'm really struggling with how much I want to show. It's been a struggle. And also, I'm still getting a divorce, and a lot of people don't know that, but it does take a long time. And if you guys know, I've been with Rocco for 8 months, and I have been living in this apartment for over a year, almost 2 years, I think now. And it has been an ongoing thing. It's been really hard. Coronavirus really threw a wrench in that, and it has been really difficult to try to navigate. It is something that I'm really looking forward to just getting done, but like I said, it's hard because you have to communicate with the person that you're getting a divorce with. You know, like, we're trying to kind of do it ourselves. And while in the long term that will take longer, it is at least financially more feasible for the both of us. But because of that, I have noticed I've kind of become a little bit of a punching bag, which is understandable because I am the one who said that I wanted a divorce, and I'm getting a lot of flack from him and comments from him or whatever. Like, and I understand, like, he's hurting, and there's like a point where you have to kind of put yourself in their shoes, especially since I'm the first one in the relationship to have started dating afterwards. So that whole situation is really weighing on me mentally. Another thing that recently happened is my Oma actually passed away from coronavirus less than a week ago. Actually a week ago yesterday, so a little over a week. And I kind of, let everybody know that that was sort of what was happening, that she, had coronavirus, and we were unsure kind of what was going to happen, and we were hoping it was like a less lethal strain. That there would be improvement, and we knew that she was stable. She's in a nursing home, and they let us know that she was stable. She was not, her condition wasn't deteriorating, and it wasn't getting better. It was just, a bad but stable. And then we got a call that she had passed away. And Rocco and I had gone away for the weekend, and we were in Columbus, but away from kind of life, and we were out like experiencing stuff as much as we could, and given the circumstance, and then Sunday morning is when I got the call from my mom, and we're just driving downtown to pick up coffee, and I'm just sobbing in the car. And I think that because of that, that's part of the reason why I want to spend more time being present, and if I can figure out a way to kind of invite you guys along while being present, then I will do it. But that's part of the reason why blogging has kind of gone to the side, because my grandmother was a very important woman to me. Growing up when I was younger, I lived with her because my parents got divorced when I was very young. My birth parents got divorced when I was very young. And she was kind of my rock. Like, I was always over there after school, spending the weekends with her, staying over there during the day, because neither of my parents really wanted to pay attention to me, because I was the child from their failed marriage, you know what I mean? And I kind of reminded them of each other. They did a lot of the your mom's a bitch, your dad's an asshole, like pinning against each other. Like, they would both get me really extravagant gifts, and they'd be the exact same gifts, but it had to be like I had to leave one at mom's house, one at dad's house. They would fight and put me in the middle, and it was awful. And even at that age, I kind of understood like what was happening. So I was always with my grandma. My grandma got me my first Game Boy. My grandma and I, would bake all the time and cook all the time, and, watch the Golden Girls and play games and just hang out. And I have very vivid memories of her. And one of the things that has kind of happened is my grandma she was a young girl during World War II, and she lived in Germany. My family is originally, half my family's from Germany, half my family's from Italy. Like, both my grandmothers are immigrants. They are legal aliens here in the sense that they don't have like a green card. They haven't taken American citizenship. They are German and Italian. And my aunts and uncles were all born, in other places, and some of them were born in Ohio, but most of them were born in like Italy and Germany, and have spent a lot of their lives living there. So my grandma has had a very rough life. She married my grandfather and he was an abusive piece of shit, and she basically took my aunt who adopted me, my birth dad, and my uncle and left. And because of that, she was on, you know, a young German mother living in America. It was really hard on her, and she wasn't the nicest woman, but that's not the grandma that I remember. Like, I feel like maybe she kind of learned the older she got. She's really loving and really caring to me. Towards the end of her living with my mom, my adoptive mom, she was not a nice woman. She kind of resorted back to how she used to be, and I think it's because she had Alzheimer's and was having strokes, and I think that her mental capacity kind of, you know, went backwards. And so her and I had a really, really rough relationship the last year and a half that she lived with my mom before she went into the nursing home. And I regret not spending more time with her. I regret not spending more time with her over the last 3 years. And that is something that I cannot live with anymore and don't want to live with going forward. So I want to be more present. I want to have more conversations with you guys online. I want to spend more time with my boyfriend and try to spend more time with my roommate and try to make friendships and just be in the moment. And that really showed that to me because, like I said, I love her a lot, and I'm sad that she's gone now and there isn't really anything that I can do about it. But I don't want to live with that regret going forward in any other circumstance and situation. So that's part of the reason why I think I wanted to film this, just to kind of give a little bit of an update on how I'm doing mentally. Her dinner is Wednesday. I have 3 days off from work. We get a paid 3 days off from work for bereavement when something like this happens. So we're having a dinner on Wednesday. It's going to be a couple of people, like my uncle, and some family that are coming in from out of state to get together to just kind of celebrate her life, because there really isn't much that you can do right now. We can't really have a real funeral for her. She's just going to be cremated, and that's all we can do because she died from coronavirus, and you can't really have a funeral right now, especially from coronavirus patients. It's just been a whirlwind of a couple of weeks for me. And this all happened during the death of George Floyd and everything that had been happening that I feel like a lot of us weren't oblivious to, but weren't necessarily giving the most attention to, and weren't really paying attention at all to what was happening in our own community. And so I wanted to uplift Black members of our community. And so I stepped back for a couple of weeks because I do have a pretty large subscriber base. I do have a pretty large Twitter fan base, yeah, I guess you can call it that, and Instagram, followers or whatever. And I wanted to try to use my platform for that. And I was trying to, because being on Twitter and being on Instagram, like I said earlier, is really hard for me. It's it gives me a lot of anxiety. It's very draining because it's a constant feed. So I had really removed myself from that, and had in the past shut myself off from it. And recently I've been trying to work through that. I've been trying to push through. And at the same time as everything that was happening, the big chunk of the discussion, the time frame where everything was Black Lives Matter on Twitter, when it was really important. And it is something that I feel like we should still be doing, but I've noticed less of recently. I was also running a readathon, the Feel Good-a-thon, at the same time, which I absolutely completely fucking failed because my life just upended. And attempting to deal with the death of my grandmother. But before that, I was trying to push through my mental health and really focus, because I needed to be present online. I needed to use my voice for something more than just my videos or how I'm feeling or, whatever. Shit posting on Twitter is basically all I do anyway. And it was really hard. So when my grandma died, my mental health was already so bad because it was being on Twitter. It was recognizing my internal racism and my shortcomings in the community and, my privilege, and trying to be present and trying to talk. And I'm going to list a few creators down below, a few of their videos that I absolutely loved, that I watched a lot of over the last couple of weeks and felt like I learned something. But I will say it's not their job to teach by any means. There's Google. Google is a free resource if you're confused about, what it means to be an ally or to be anti-racist or to really try to be a good support in this community. Google that shit. But I will leave videos down below of people who I adore, who I've adored for years that I haven't paid attention to because I've been so absorbed in myself and what's going on with me and not paying attention to people who are literally yelling like, I need help, or this is how I'm feeling. And so last couple weeks have been really hard. I think they've been hard for a lot of people, and I think they've been extra hard because of everything that's going on in our country, everything that has been going on in our country. It's been a never-ending fucking crapshoot for us for the last, 4 months, 5 months. It's been really hard, and it's been hard to pay attention to mental health, and it's been hard to pay attention to self-care, and it's been really hard to not completely shut down. I got a new job, got a new boyfriend, got all this new stuff all at once, and if you know me, I don't like when things change. I like things to be slow and steady. This is how it is. This is my life. Like, I like to know what to expect, and it hasn't been like that at all recently. And mostly it's been good. My new job is amazing, which is part of the reason why content has been kind of sporadic because my entire schedule changed. My old job just completely tanked, and I'm so glad I got out when I did. I'm glad to work for the company that I work for. They are fantastic. They are some of the most loving, supportive, very it's a family, and I kind of knew that the company was like that beforehand, and now that I'm working there, I love it. Getting vacation pay and sick pay and bereavement pay, and is this what it feels like to be an adult? Is this what a real job's supposed to feel like? Working 9 hours is considered overtime as opposed to my last job where a normal overtime shift was 16 hours, 12 hours. So a lot of it has been good. Obviously, Rocco is a blessing. Figuring out my divorce stuff will eventually be a blessing to be done with that. Getting to see my family, even though my grandmother has passed, that's going to be a blessing. It's been wild. It's been all over the place, and it's hard to know what to do. Yeah. It's just been crazy. Now, there's one other thing that I think has been really going on in our community, has been really talked about, and I wanted to also talk about it because I feel like I cannot continue business as usual without also addressing this. And I wish this was a beer because I'm gonna need a drink after talking about this. If you're not on Twitter, which I don't really think you need to be on Twitter to have heard about kind of what's happening, you're gonna, what's coming. It'll probably be in the title of this video. I want to address J.K. Rowling and her fucking bullshit. I love Harry Potter. I love that series. That series brings me so much comfort. It is something that I listen to almost every single night to fall asleep. And I'm getting emotional. Of course I'm getting emotional. I have an entire shelf behind you of gifts, of things that my friends have made, of memories of, when I went to Universal with Bunny and Meg, when I, certain points in my life, I have things that friends have made and designed. I have things from the movies that really mean a lot to me. I have 3 different editions of these goddamn books, and I'm so disappointed. I am so disappointed. And I can understand what she thinks she's trying to say, which doesn't mean I'm not appalled by it. It doesn't mean that I don't think she's fucking disgusting for saying it. I can just understand. In a sense of, I'm not an idiot. I understand the full scope of the conversation. You know what I mean? I get what she was trying to say. So I can have an opinion about this because she's fucking wrong. Trans women are women. Trans men are men. I don't understand this scientific, biological fucking discussion that people like her need to have, that as if trans women existing takes away from like the feminist movement, or takes away from me being a woman. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. As somebody who's been in a relationship with a female to male transgender person, I just don't understand the disconnect. It's as if you've removed your heart. Like, it doesn't hurt anybody. It truly doesn't hurt anybody. And as somebody with a platform like her that could be using this for so much good to talk about, like, I don't understand it. It's like all the people with the Black Lives Matter movement that weren't saying anything, or keeping quiet, or being, you know, like, oh, I don't want to post something because it messes up my feed, or oh, I don't want to talk about it because I don't talk about politics. It's none of this discussion that we're having about trans lives or about Black Lives Matter is politics. It's human lives. You know what I mean? Like, these are people. This isn't about like fucking, you know, the next election or anything like that. If you look at the basis of it, it's just people and how much you can care about people. And I said on Twitter that I feel like the issue that people have is a lack of compassion. And we are readers, and we can learn a lot from the books that we read, but you cannot be taught empathy and compassion. And that is something that I've really struggled with over the last 3 weeks, because I am a natural empath. So if I'm around somebody enough, if they feel bad, it's going to make me feel bad. If they're having a really good day, I'm going to have a really good day. I cannot turn off my receptors like that. Which is a lot of the time when I feel down, I become a recluse because I'm like, I cannot handle much more. This shit with J.K. Rowling blows my mind as somebody who tried so fucking hard to be like, Dumbledore's gay. Like, bitch, take a seat. I'm so tired of that. You wrote a good series. You wrote a good series for the time that still to this day has some flaws. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to go back and change things to fit some kind of fucking narrative of you trying to save your career. Like, that's basically what she's doing. She is trying to make as much money as possible. We can, without a doubt, say that J.K. Rowling is a terrible person. Like, I don't care what you say. I don't care what organizations she's donating to. I don't care what kind of help she's giving women's movements and support she's giving them or whatever. I don't care what kind of science or discussions she's trying to have. I don't care. She is not a good person. This isn't the first time to use gay characters or try to create gay characters into a world that's already existing to try to become more popular or more relevant. Fucked up. The fact that she acts like trans women and she doesn't really address trans men, but trans women and trans men don't exist or don't need to be a part of a community they rightfully fucking belong to. Fuck her. She's a horrible person. And I know people are like, oh, she's older, like blah, blah. No. With that much fucking resource and that much fucking money, she could at least fake like she's a good person. If she wants to be, in my opinion, if she wants to be a piece of shit behind doors, I don't fucking care. I don't care. But she doesn't need to bring it out into the fucking open. She doesn't, like, who knows what she does with her money? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know where her money really goes. You can anonymously donate to many organizations. Rich people do it all the fucking time. Orson Scott Card did that shit. Politicians do it all the time. When it comes to J.K. Rowling, I cannot sit there and act like I'm not disgusted. I cannot sit there and act like supporting her would be something that I'm comfortable with. Like I said, I have an entire shelf full of Harry Potter shit. Friends have made, gifts, memories, nothing will take any of that away from me. My memories and my connection with these things are not just necessarily that they are Harry Potter. It is connections and memories that I have with people. I will never get rid of my Harry Potter collection. If you've noticed, however, it has not been in the background of my videos for a very long time. I have always had a hard line with, I will not support an author. Like, I will not buy anything from them. I will not contribute to their pockets if I know that they are not just problematic, but actively problematic. Like if somebody's on Twitter talking about how all lives matter or trans women are not women, that kind of stuff, I'm not going to support you, and that is where I'm at with J.K. Rowling. She doesn't deserve my money. She doesn't deserve anyone's money. I'm not going to be talking about Harry Potter on my channel anymore. It is going to be something that I enjoy in private, that I'm not going to share with other people, because I think that it's important, and it's hard to know. I've talked with friends who have a lot of trans friends in the Harry Potter community who firmly believe that it doesn't fucking matter what J.K. Rowling said, because this is our community. This is what we have made it. She wrote the books, but we're the ones who really brought Hogwarts and Harry Potter to life. And she won't take that from me. She won't take that from me. But I won't be buying Harry Potter merch. I won't be talking about Harry Potter on my channel. I won't be sharing any of that, because I don't want people to be swayed by me talking about something and then go and start giving her money. If they want to find it on their own, that's fine. One of the things that's very important to me, especially because also with Stephen King recently in the last year has had a lot of really poor gay representation in his books. A lot of things that he's said have been very questionable. I'm not going to go over all of it here. Like I said, Google whatever you want. But when it comes to him and J.K. Rowling, I full stop need to stop supporting them in that way. I don't like any of Stephen King's new shit anyway, so I'm not buying any of his books. Most of them I get from the library. With him, I will probably still talk about his books on my channel while paying attention to some of the problematic things. When it comes to books that I'm reading, I am one of those people, like I said, that can pretty well separate artist from art, depending. I promise to critically look at problematic content and listen to conversations about problematic content that I am reading and bring that to attention. What is problematic for me is not problematic to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, you say you're not gay, but you read something that can be considered problematic when it comes to the gay community. If a gay person is telling you, hey, that's sort of fucking problematic, you need to listen. I need to listen. Bad example because I'm part of the gay community, but you know what I mean. I need to listen. If the black community is coming to you and saying Stephen King is really fucking racist, you need to listen. If trans people are coming to you and saying what J.K. Rowling is saying about the trans community is not okay, you need to listen. And I vow to listen. I will always, moving forward, because a lot of the time when I read something, I don't know it's problematic until somebody later on points it out to me, or like I'm halfway through something and I read it and I read something that is problematic or whatever. But I promise to try to do better with that, because I am somebody that will continue to read Stephen King, who will continue to possibly read authors that have been deemed problematic. I would implore you to do similarly to what I'm doing and pay more attention to queer authors, pay more attention to black authors, pay more attention to POC authors, pay more attention to marginalized authors that write, you know what I mean? That write shit that maybe you wouldn't necessarily normally read. I have read one book, I think, by a black author this entire year. I can't remember if it was this year or the end of last year. That's terrible. I read a lot of books from the queer community, but I want to start reading, and I need to start reading stories that are very different from mine. We need to pay more attention to diversifying what we're reading and the content that we're consuming, and hearing other people's stories and being willing to learn. I could not imagine waking up every day and just refusing to learn, refusing to grow, refusing to change, not listening to somebody else's story. I couldn't imagine that, and I've become that person. And I fucking hate it. And I want to change it, because there are so many people that I love in this community who've been treated like absolute shit. Absolute shit. For way too long. And I recognize my privilege. And when it comes to many things, no, I'm not just talking like Black Lives Matter. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about many, many things in this community that a lot of us have that other people don't. And I don't know, it's been an incredibly eye-opening 6 months for me, but it has also been the most eye-opening experience of my life the last month. It's been insane. And it's been really hard. Like I said, I'm sure it's been hard for a lot of us, but we'll see. Going forward, another reason why I'm making this video is because I want to try to be positive on my channel. It helps. Filming really helps. Talking to you guys really helps. And sitting down and getting excited and filming and hanging out with you makes me feel better. And I needed to get all of this out so that I could try to do that again for myself and try to do that for you guys and be positive and happy and, you know, really like show how I'm trying to feel. So I hope this video clears up some stuff. I hope it puts into perspective why I haven't really been here, why I haven't really been online for the last however long, 6 months, kind of what's going on behind the scenes with me. My mental health today is it's like the best it's ever been. I've just had like a fantastic weekend, and Rocco and I put furniture together and didn't kill each other. We didn't fight at all, actually. It was really great. And it's just like we're talking about the future and like our apartment when we get one, and kind of, I don't know, just like getting a dog and just moving forward. And it feels nice because it feels like I'm closing some chapters and I'm moving forward in a way that I'm like, I'm really excited for. And it feels that same way with like YouTube and wanting to create content that you guys want to see and talk to you guys. And if you have any ideas for things that you want to see, type of content, things you want me to talk about, you know, whatever, let me know down below, because I'm fully open to suggestions, because my channel does not have a clear direction. It is not that kind of channel. It is mostly books, but it's also just like life and how I'm feeling, and I don't know. I just want to know what you guys want to see, because this is as much my channel as it is yours. But I'm going to leave this video here because it's probably going to be about a half an hour long, because a bitch can ramble. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to put everything out there. I love you guys immensely. Truly, truly, this channel and talking to you guys has helped me through so much. And I want you guys to know that you are important. And even though you watch creators and you think these creators are so cool or whatever, it's really you guys. Like, we wouldn't be anything without you. And I don't know, that's important to me, that you guys understand that you make this channel and you make my life, basically. But I love you, and I will see you in my next video. I don't know when it's gonna be. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'll see you when we get there. Hey guys, what is up, and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title of today's video, we're going to be filming a haul. I have already filmed this video a couple of times, and the reason why I have restarted it is because I don't think I'm speaking eloquently enough. I don't think I'm struggling with this issue that I have about not wanting to know too much about books and then therefore buying books blindly. And then when I talk